is Dr. Ivy Brannon of Simplicity Health Associates. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and this is the third part of our cold and flu busting series. So before me, I have some foods that you might think would not be the best choices when you're having a cold or flu. And guess what? You're right. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about why that is. So the first thing I have here is a nice bowl of candy. In fact, actually, it's one of my favorite candies from growing up. But one of the things is added sugars, unfortunately, as soon as we ingest them, actually decrease our immune cells by about 50%. And so when we're fighting off a cold, we want to make sure that our immune system is working as robust as possible. So in addition to obviously overt sugars like candy, you also want to avoid covert sugars, so added sugars. So typically I recommend that my patients cut down to about 5 grams or less of added sugar. And the added sugar could come from anywhere. I mean, it could be coming from molasses and honey and agave, cane sugar, the notorious high fructose corn syrup. So you want to really make sure that the things that you're buying don't contain these sweeteners. And also even things like dried fruit and fruit juice, you really want to keep those at a minimum. Definitely a lot better if you don't want to consume some fruit, to consume whole fresh fruit instead, because it's going to have a less impact on blood sugar and insulin levels. Then our next thing is the New York favorite. In fact, actually, this is a bagel from Murray's Bagels, which is actually really close to my office. And the reason you want to be avoiding things like this is you really want to cut down and avoid gluten when you're coming down with a cold or flu. And even if you don't necessarily have a frank gluten allergy or intolerance, the reason you want to be cutting these things down is because they are, for most people, very inflammatory and also can enhance the production of mucus. Specifically, one of the things I find is when you're still eating a lot of gluten products, when you're coming down with a cold and flu, you're more likely to wind up with a sinus infection at the end of your cold and flu. So you definitely want to avoid that. So what is gluten? So that's, besides obviously wheat, we're also talking about spelt, rye, barley, and even some types of oats, because some oats are actually stored with gluten grains. So you want to make sure that if you're going to get oats, that it is gluten-free. Another one also to avoid would be bulgur wheat, all contain gluten. And then next up, I have a nice little bowl of yogurt. And so, yes, yogurt has good bacteria, but this yogurt comes from a cow. And so when we're coming down with a cold or flu, we want to avoid animal dairy. So that's things like cow, goat, sheep, buffalo, even things like camel milk. So basically animal-derived dairy. And very similar to the gluten is that they're very mucus-producing. So definitely want to avoid your cheeses for right now, drinking milk, your lattes, yogurts made with animal dairy. But you can try non-animal alternatives such as coconut, almond, hemp, rice, flax, hazelnut. The list goes on and on. Definitely want to be careful with soy, specifically if you have a soy intolerance, and also want to try as best as possible, obviously, because we're trying to avoid added sugars. You want to make sure that you get the unsweetened ones. And another thing about dairy is that actually, although eggs are in the dairy aisle, they are not dairy. So no worries about having eggs, obviously, as long as you can tolerate them and enjoy them. So that's my cold and flu tip for today, and I look forward to speaking to you next time as we continue on this cold and flu busting series. Have a wonderful day. My name again is Dr. Ivy Brannon of Simplicity Health Associates, and I'll see you next time.